There is something very strange quietly happening in wealthy kitchens in America. The 12 foods they are stockpiling right now are not the most luxurious items in the supermarket. Not expensive beef, not wine, and not the products displayed prominently at the entrance. Many of them cost only a few dollars. Some can last more than 25 years. And some cost over $100 a jar, but are still being hunted down. What wealthy people see is not just a bag of beans, a bottle of oil, or a jar of honey. They see time, control, and the ability to keep their family calm when everything starts to change. While most people are only buying for this week's dinner, smart kitchens have already prepared for the months and years ahead. And the item in the #1 spot may make you look at food stockpiling in a completely different way. 12. Freeze-dried fruit. The sleeping vitamin storehouse. There is something that sounds quite unreasonable. A bag of freeze-dried fruit weighs only 1 or 2 ounces, so light that you almost cannot feel it in your hand. But it can cost from $10 to nearly $20. If calculated by the pound, it can be more expensive than many kinds of meat in the supermarket. And that is exactly why wealthy people are quietly buying it before the rest of everyone realizes its true value. They are not buying it because it is a fancy snack. They buy it because it turns one of the most perishable things in the kitchen, fresh fruit, into a source of vitamins that can sit quietly on the shelf for 20 to 25 years. Think about it. A box of fresh strawberries can start to soften, leak juice, or grow mold after only a few days. Blueberries, raspberries, and cherries are the same. They are delicious, beautiful, and rich in nutrients, but extremely fragile. All it takes is a power outage in the refrigerator, weather that is too hot, or forgetting to eat them for a few days, and that money almost turns into trash. But with freeze-dried fruit, the water is removed at a low temperature, helping preserve much of its natural color, flavor, and nutrients. Red and purple fruits like blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries contain anthocyanins, a group of antioxidants known for supporting heart health, brain health, and healthy aging. For older adults, this is not a small thing. When the body starts needing more nutrition but eating less, every spoonful of quality vitamins becomes valuable. The strongest advantage of this item is that it needs no refrigerator, no cooking, takes up very little space, and is very easy to use. You can add it to morning oatmeal, mix it with yogurt, sprinkle it on cereal, add it to a smoothie, or eat it directly when you need something lightly sweet without opening candy or cookies. For households with only 1 or 2 people, this is especially practical because they do not have to buy a whole box of fresh fruit and then worry about eating it in time before it spoils. When buying, choose the kind with only 1 ingredient: fruit. Avoid types with added sugar, syrup, coloring, or flavoring. After opening the bag, transfer it to an airtight jar or small vacuum-sealed bag and keep it in a dry, cool, dark place. Its biggest enemy is not time, but moisture. Wealthy people do not stockpile freeze-dried fruit because it is cheap. They stockpile it because it solves a problem most people have not thought about: how to keep fruit, vitamins, and antioxidants in the house when fresh fruit is no longer cheap, no longer available, or no longer lasts as long as before. There are vitamins that cannot be seen with the eyes, but on the day when meals are reduced to starches, canned foods, and the same repeated items, the body will remember very clearly the feeling of receiving a little color, a little sweet and sour taste, and a source of nutrition that seems small but is incredibly valuable. 11. Avocado oil. The fat of the future. A friend who works in premium food distribution once told me a very memorable sentence: "Regular people buy oil when the old bottle is almost empty. Well-prepared people buy oil before the market starts getting tight. And in the quiet orders of well-off families, one name is appearing more and more often: avocado oil. Not a small bottle just to try for fun, but cases, large bottles, even gallon-sized containers delivered straight to the house. The interesting thing is that they do not buy it because they want the kitchen to look more luxurious. They buy it because they understand one very simple thing. In any period of disruption, people often remember to stockpile rice, beans, noodles, and canned foods. But very few people remember that without fat, every meal becomes only food for survival, no longer a real meal. A 500 milliliter bottle of pure avocado oil usually costs around $12 to $20. A 1-liter bottle can reach $20 to $35, while a gallon size for families or restaurants can be much more expensive. At first, that sounds high, especially when placed next to regular vegetable oil. But wealthy people do not look at that bottle of oil as an expensive item. They look at it as hundreds of spoonfuls of energy, hundreds of upgraded meals, and hundreds of times the body absorbs nutrition better. A retired couple in Arizona once shared that they only planned to buy 1 bottle of oil, but when they saw the shelves almost empty after a weekend sale, they picked up a few more bottles of avocado oil. 6 months later, the shelf price had increased by nearly 1.5 times. The husband laughed. "My best savings was not my bank account, but buying before everyone remembered at the same time." Just 1 tablespoon of avocado oil provides about 120 calories, almost entirely from fat. And this is not the kind of cheap fat only meant to fill you up. Avocado oil is rich in monounsaturated fats, the group of fats often mentioned in heart-healthy diets. It also contains vitamin E and helps the body better absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. A plate of vegetables, a bowl of beans, a serving of potatoes, or a pot of soup can change completely with just 1 spoonful of good oil. What makes avocado oil much more special than many other oils is its very high smoke point, around 250 to 270 degrees Celsius. That means it can be used for searing, baking, quick frying, salad dressing, making sauces, or adding to food after cooking. 1 bottle of oil can replace many roles in the kitchen. When storage space is limited, 1 versatile item is always more valuable than 3 items that can only do 1 job. But this is the part many people overlook. Cooking oil is one of the things that changes the spirit of a meal the fastest. White rice can help you feel full. Beans can give you protein. But when you add a spoonful of avocado oil, the food has richness, aroma, energy, and a feeling of fullness. In stressful times, that feeling is not small. It helps a simple meal become something the family wants to keep eating, instead of just trying to swallow it down. When buying, choose the type clearly labeled 100% pure avocado oil, prioritizing dark glass bottles or packaging that limits light. Avoid unclear blends, because some cheap products may not be pure avocado oil. After opening, close the cap tightly. Keep it in a cool, dry place, and avoid placing it near a hot stove or direct sunlight. Wealthy people do not stockpile avocado oil because it is cheap. They stockpile it because they understand that good fat is what quietly keeps meals valuable, helps the body absorb nutrients, and keeps the kitchen from falling into a scene of only dry starches. A spoonful of good oil sometimes does not just make food taste better. It is the distance between a meal for survival and a meal that makes people feel they are still living normally. If you could keep only 1 type of oil in your pantry for the next few months, would you choose avocado oil, olive oil, or regular cooking oil? 10. Pumpkin seeds, the body's small battery. If there is one food that most people walk past, but many well-off families quietly buy in large bags, it is pumpkin seeds. They do not have flashy packaging. They are not on the trendy superfood list, and they are not the kind of item everyone wants to show off on social media. Yet inside that small handful of seeds is an amount of nutrition that can surprise many expensive foods. A 16 to 24-ounce bag of whole pumpkin seeds in America usually costs around $6 to $12, while organic or shelled varieties can cost from $10 to $18. That may not sound cheap, but each bag can be used across dozens of meals. Just about 30 grams of pumpkin seeds provides nearly 8 to 9 grams of protein, more than 150 milligrams of magnesium, and around 2 to 3 milligrams of zinc, minerals that are very important for muscles, the nervous system, and the immune system. That is why many people call pumpkin seeds the body's small battery. The older the body gets, the more easily it can become low in magnesium, leading to fatigue, poor sleep, cramps, or reduced energy. A handful of pumpkin seeds a day is not medicine, but it is a simple way to add nutrients that many modern meals are missing. The strongest point of pumpkin seeds is that they require almost no preparation. You can eat them directly. Sprinkle them on salad, oatmeal, yogurt, soup, or blend them into a smoothie. No electricity, no stove, no extra water needed. That is the advantage that makes them appear in many long-term food storage lists. If stored properly in vacuum-sealed bags or airtight containers, kept in a dry, dark, and cool place, pumpkin seeds can maintain their quality for 6 to 12 months at room temperature, about 1 year in the refrigerator, and up to 2 years in the freezer. One tip many people use is to divide the seeds into small glass jars or zip bags by week of use. That way, each time you open one, only a small amount is exposed, while the rest is not reduced in quality by moisture and air. Another very valuable stockpiling tip is to prioritize buying seeds still in the shell or unsalted roasted varieties in bulk, then store them in airtight glass jars. This type usually holds its flavor longer, is more flexible for cooking, and avoids unnecessary sodium. Perhaps the most interesting thing about pumpkin seeds is not their size or price. It is that a tiny food, able to sit quietly on the shelf for months, can still deliver protein, magnesium, zinc, and a steady source of energy for the whole family. Sometimes, the smallest thing on the shelf is the thing that helps you maintain your health the longest. If you could choose only one type of seed or nut to always keep in the kitchen, would you choose pumpkin seeds, almonds, or walnuts? 9. Canned wild salmon. The thing that feeds clear thinking. There is a very common mistake when preparing food. We count the number of cans in the pantry, but forget to ask a more important question. When we are tired, sleep-deprived, stressed, and have to make decisions constantly, will our mind still be clear enough? That is why canned wild salmon becomes a very different item in the kitchen of people who prepare carefully. It is not as loud as tuna, not as cheap as canned beans, and not as familiar as canned meat. One can usually costs around $3 to $6, higher than regular tuna. That is why many people walk past it without picking it up. But sometimes, an overlooked item is not overlooked because it has little value, but because people do not yet understand what it is meant to protect. After a storm in the southeastern United States, one father said that his family's first dinner did not come from a restaurant reopening, but from a few cans of salmon in the pantry. No complicated cooking needed, just hot rice and 1 can of fish, and the whole family had a nourishing meal. Canned wild salmon provides about 20 to 25 grams of quality protein in 1 can. But the more valuable part lies in omega-3 and vitamin D, These are nutrients directly connected to the brain, mood, heart health, and the ability to maintain stability when the body is under pressure. In a normal week, that may not sound too special. But in a difficult week, when meals repeat, sleep gets worse, and everything has to be calculated, a stable brain can be worth much more. The twist is here. Canned salmon does not just help you feel full. It helps you not become the worst version of yourself when you need to stay clear-headed the most. One rushed decision. One time forgetting to check the water. One time buying the wrong essential item can sometimes cause more damage than missing a meal. Another advantage is that it is almost ready to use right away. Open the can, mix it with rice, potatoes, crackers, salad, or eat it directly. No refrigerator needed before opening. No thawing, no complicated cooking. If stored in a dry, cool place away from sunlight, canned salmon usually lasts about 3 to 5 years. When buying, prioritize wild-caught, low sodium if possible, and cans that are not dented, swollen, or rusty. A small tip is to buy a few cans each time, write the purchase month on the lid, and use them in rotation. Old cans out first, new cans in later. Wealthy people do not stockpile salmon just because it tastes better than tuna. They stockpile it because they understand that a crisis does not only test the endurance of the stomach, it tests memory, calmness, and the ability to choose the right thing at the right time. If there were only one type of canned fish left in your pantry for the most stressful days, would you choose salmon, tuna, or sardines? 8. Raw apple cider vinegar. The Swiss Army knife of the kitchen. If there is one item that does not make you full immediately, but can extend the value of many other things in the pantry, it is raw apple cider vinegar. A small bottle looks very ordinary, costing around $5 to $8 for 32 ounces, or $12 to $15 for a 1-gallon size. But it can do far more things than many other expensive items. This is the point well-prepared people see first. They do not buy apple cider vinegar because they like the sour taste. They buy it because it is a tool. When vegetables start to wilt, apple cider vinegar can turn cucumbers, carrots, red onions, and cabbage into pickled foods to use for several more days. When meals are reduced to rice, beans, potatoes, or oats, a little sourness helps the food feel less heavy, easier to eat, and wakes up the appetite. When the kitchen lacks cleaning products, it can help deodorize containers, wipe wooden cutting boards, clean mineral buildup in kettles, or gently refresh some kitchen surfaces. For health, many people use a small amount of diluted apple cider vinegar before or during a meal high in starch to support digestion and help the meal feel more balanced. The important point is that it must be diluted, not drunk directly, because the high acidity can cause discomfort to the stomach or tooth enamel. A very big advantage of apple cider vinegar is its shelf life. If stored in a dry, cool place away from direct sunlight, it can maintain its quality for many years. The cloudy sediment or floating strands inside raw vinegar are usually the natural mother, not a sign of spoilage. Just shake gently before using. The best stockpiling tip is to buy the gallon size to save more, then divide it into several small glass bottles. 1 bottle for cooking, 1 bottle for pickling vegetables, and 1 bottle for kitchen cleaning. Doing this helps you avoid opening the large jug again and again, limits dirt and moisture, and makes daily use more convenient. If you could keep only one multi-purpose bottle in your pantry, would you choose apple cider vinegar, honey, or baking soda? 7. Freeze-dried spinach, the safe that holds green vegetables. The first thing that disappears from supermarkets during unstable periods is often not meat or rice. It is green vegetables. After only a few days, the shelves of spinach or salad greens can be completely empty, while the freezer at home does not have enough space to store much. That is when many well-prepared families take out something almost no one notices: a bag of freeze-dried spinach. A bag of about 8 to 10 ounces usually costs from $15 to $30, which may sound expensive. But after adding water or using it in food, it is equivalent to many pounds of fresh vegetables. Wealthy people do not look at the weight of the bag. They look at the amount of vitamins it preserves and the number of years it can sit quietly on the shelf. Spinach is known for its vitamin K, folate, iron, and calcium, nutrients especially important for bones, blood, and maintaining energy. When the menu starts repeating with noodles, rice, and canned foods, these very nutrients become the first things the body lacks. The most valuable point is its shelf life. If sealed tightly and stored in a dry, dark, cool place, freeze-dried spinach can maintain its quality for up to 25 years. No electricity, no refrigerator, and no worrying about vegetables turning yellow after a few days. A tip many families use is to divide it into small glass jars or vacuum-sealed bags by week of use. Just one small handful added to soup, noodles, eggs, rice, or a smoothie can give the whole meal more green color and far more nutrients. You can forget a bag of vegetables in the basement for many years. But on the day the vegetable shelves at the supermarket are empty, it will not forget you. Some investments do not create money, but they help the whole family avoid trading their health for the lack of something that seems very ordinary. 6. Whole wheat berries. The seed of stability. A baker once said a very good sentence: "Flour has a lifespan, but wheat berries have patience." That is also why many well-off families do not stockpile dozens of bags of flour, but instead choose 25 or 50-pound bags of whole wheat berries. A bag like that usually costs only around $20 to $45, cheaper than many people think, and enough to make dozens of loaves of bread or many meals. Unlike flour that has already been milled and exposed to air, whole berries still keep their natural protective bran and germ. If stored in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, kept in a dry place and at a stable temperature, they can last 25 to 30 years while still keeping much of their nutritional value. That is what makes many people see this as the seed of stability. Today, it is only a grain, but tomorrow it can become flour, bread, porridge, salad, soup, or even be sprouted to add fresh greens. There is a family in Kansas that still keeps the habit of buying one more bag of wheat berries every year and storing it in the basement. They say they do not do it because they are afraid of running out of bread, but because they want their children and grandchildren to always have the ability to make bread anytime. 1 cup of wheat berries also provides complex carbohydrates, plant protein, fiber, and more B vitamins than many refined grains. You are not just stockpiling calories, but also stockpiling the ability to create many different dishes from a single ingredient. The tip from long-time prepared people is to buy large bags, then divide them into food-grade buckets or airtight jars in smaller portions. Add oxygen absorbers and write the packing date on the outside. That way, each time you open one, only a small portion is affected, while the rest stays protected for many years. Wealthy people do not buy more bread than others. They buy the ability to make bread on any day they want. And that is also the biggest difference between stockpiling food and stockpiling control. There are seeds that are not planted in the ground, but they plant inside the kitchen a feeling of peace that can last for decades. 5. Raw honey. The sweet currency of the kitchen. There is a very strange rule in the world. The scarcer it becomes, the more valuable real honey gets. While many people only see a jar of golden liquid sitting on a supermarket shelf, long-term prepared people see a kind of asset that almost does not know how to expire. A 32-ounce jar of raw honey in America usually costs around $12 to $25, while local honey or raw honey can be even higher. The interesting thing is that for many years, honey prices have been under constant pressure as bee colonies decline, beekeeping costs rise, and blended honey appears more and more. That makes a jar of real honey not just food, but something increasingly hard to replace. A beekeeper in Montana once said, "I do not sell honey, I sell millions of flights made by bees." That sentence makes many customers willing to buy one more jar because they understand this is a product that cannot be created only by machines. Unlike many other sweeteners, honey almost does not spoil if stored properly. Jars of honey that are decades old can still be used normally. If crystallization appears, just place it in warm water and it will return to its original state. Time almost does not take away its value, but what makes many families always keep a few jars of honey ready is not only its lifespan. A spoonful of honey can quickly add energy, soothe the throat, sweeten tea, make baked goods, marinate meat, mix sauces, or replace sugar in many dishes. An ingredient that can appear from breakfast to dinner is always more valuable than something used for only one purpose. The tip from longtime stockpilers is to buy raw honey from local beekeepers, or the kind clearly labeled raw honey, then divide it into small glass jars. This helps limit opening the same large jar again and again, and keeps the quality stable for many years. Just store it in a dry place, away from direct sunlight, and absolutely do not let water get inside. Some items lose value as soon as they leave the store. Honey is the opposite. It lies quietly on the shelf, waiting for years while still keeping its value and usefulness. Perhaps that is why smart, prepared people do not see honey as a sweetener. They see it as a sweet currency always ready to trade for a good meal, a warm cup of tea, or simply a feeling of peace of mind in difficult days. If you could keep only one sweetener in the kitchen for many years, would you choose honey, sugar, or maple syrup? 4. Ghee, the thing that turns rice into a meal. A 13 to 16 ounce jar of pure ghee usually costs around $10 to $18. At first glance, it may seem more expensive than regular butter, but in return, you get a fat that almost does not need refrigeration before opening, can be used for a long time, and handles heat very well. Ghee is butter with the water and milk proteins removed, leaving behind pure fat rich in energy. Just one spoonful provides about 120 calories, while also helping the body better absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. A plate of vegetables, a bowl of rice, or a pot of beans can change completely in aroma, richness, and appetite with just a little ghee added. That is what many people overlook when stockpiling food. They count cans and bags of rice but forget that fat is what creates satisfaction in a meal. Without it, food is only fuel. With it, dinner becomes a moment that makes the whole family want to sit down together again. If unopened and stored in a dry, cool place away from direct light, ghee can maintain its quality for a very long time. After opening, just use a clean spoon and close the lid tightly to limit moisture from getting in. Many people also divide it into small jars to rotate through, helping the rest stay protected. A spoonful of ghee does not just add fat, it adds aroma, adds energy, and adds the feeling that today's meal is still worth looking forward to. If you could keep only one type of fat in the kitchen long term, would you choose ghee, avocado oil, or olive oil? 3. Lentils, the silent hero. A 1-pound bag usually costs only around $2 to $4, but after cooking, it can become many meals of soup, curry, stew, or food served with rice. 1 cup of cooked lentils provides about 18 grams of protein and 15 grams of fiber. That is a very strong number for a food that is cheap, light, easy to store, and does not need refrigeration. A 72-year-old man in Ohio said that his kitchen always has at least 10 bags of lentils, not because he is poor, but because he likes the feeling of knowing he can always cook a hot pot of soup in less than half an hour. Lentils do not need to be soaked overnight. While many other beans take many hours to prepare, lentils can cook in about 20 to 30 minutes. This is extremely important when you want to save time, water, and cooking fuel. Lentils are also very easy to transform. A little salt, onion, carrots, curry powder, or canned tomatoes is enough to make a pot that can be eaten for several meals. If combined with rice, it creates a filling meal, rich in plant protein and much higher in fiber than eating only starch. If stored in airtight containers, glass jars, or vacuum-sealed bags, kept in a dry, cool, and dark place, lentils can maintain their quality for 10 to 25 years. A good tip is to divide them into portions enough for 1 pot. Write the purchase date on the outside and rotate them gradually instead of opening one large bag many times. Lentils do not impress on the first day, but on the day you need something cheap, quick, filling, easy to cook, and nutritious enough. They will prove why smart kitchens always keep them there. If you could choose only one type of bean to stockpile long-term, would you choose lentils, black beans, or chickpeas? 2. Pure cocoa powder. The food that holds the spirit. After a few days of eating the same foods, what makes a family tired sometimes is not hunger. It is the feeling that every meal is dry, repetitive, and no longer has anything to look forward to. This is when pure cocoa powder becomes much more valuable than its simple appearance. An 8 to 16 ounce bag of pure cocoa usually costs around $6 to $15, but it can make dozens of cups of drinks or be used for many batches of baked goods, oatmeal, and simple desserts. Per use, it is not too expensive, but its emotional value is very large. Pure cocoa is rich in polyphenols, magnesium, and antioxidants. But the part that makes it special is not entirely in its nutrition. A cup of hot cocoa can calm the kitchen down. It creates aroma, warmth, and a sense of normalcy on days when everything is no longer normal. That is the point many people preparing food often overlook. They stockpile rice, beans, canned foods, but forget that a stable spirit is also a resource. When children are tired of eating, adults are stressed, and dinner becomes heavy. A cup of cocoa mixed with powdered milk or a little honey can change the atmosphere faster than you think. Cocoa is also very versatile. It can be made hot, mixed into oatmeal, added to smoothies, used for baking, mixed with honey into a sweet sauce, or sprinkled over yogurt. If stored in an airtight container, away from light, heat, and moisture, cocoa powder can maintain its quality for about 2 to 3 years, longer if the package has not been opened. The best tip is to divide cocoa into small jars. Use an absolutely dry spoon, and do not keep it near strong-smelling spices because cocoa absorbs odors very easily. If you needed one item to help the whole family calm down after a stressful day, would you choose hot cocoa, tea, or coffee? 1. Saffron. The smallest spice, the greatest value. There is something quite interesting. Wealthy people do not always stockpile more. They simply choose things that hold value longer. And saffron is a perfect example. Just one small jar of 1 to 2 grams can cost from $15 to more than $40, and premium types can be many times more expensive. What makes it special is that each flower gives only a few threads, and the entire harvesting process is almost all done by hand. That scarcity is what keeps saffron among the most expensive spices in the world. But wealthy people do not buy it to show off their kitchen. They buy it because just a few small threads are enough to create a golden color, a distinctive aroma, and depth of flavor for a whole pot of rice, soup, or stew. One small jar can be used dozens, even hundreds of times. If stored in an airtight jar, kept in a dry place and away from light, saffron can maintain its quality for many years while taking up almost no storage space. It does not provide thousands of calories like rice or beans, but it brings something harder to price: the feeling that an ordinary meal can still become special. Some reserves help you get through difficult times, and some reserves help you keep the quality of life when everything starts to change. Perhaps that is the real reason saffron always appears in the kitchens of people who think further ahead than most of us. Perhaps the most valuable thing after this list is not a jar of honey, a bag of lentils, or a bottle of avocado oil. It is a different way of thinking, preparing not because of fear, but because you want to keep peace for your family. You do not need to buy everything in one day. Just add one small item each week, then quietly place it on the shelf. At some point, you will realize you are not only stockpiling food, but also stockpiling control, choices, and peace of mind. And who knows? The smartest decision today may be the thing that your future self quietly thanks you for.